We've seen a lot of instances of pro-Palestinian protesters really disrupting traffic in cities. What should happen to the traffic blockers?
These people just have impunity. They're not being prosecuted in these democratic jurisdictions. They feel like can go out, block traffic, cause havoc, and you and me are stuck in traffic and we have no recourse.
Welcome to The Debrief, where we talk with the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the headlines they're covering and where the story's going next. I'm Sarah Bedford, and I'm here with commentary editor Conn Carroll. Conn, the new CEO of NPR, Katherine Maher, has been getting a lot of attention for her past tweets, remarks. She's sort of the embodiment of the current criticism against NPR, that it's out of touch and elite. Tell us about this woman.
Sure, right. So it's not just her tweets. Like if you go back and look at her resume, if this woman was like born in a lab to run NPR, right? She's from a all-white small suburb of New York City. Her parents had their wedding announcement in the New York Times. She went to school in Syria and Cairo and New York City. Then she had internships in London and Germany. Then she came back to DC and had jobs at nonprofits all over town. This woman is very much within the NPR mindset. You know, she's a vegetarian. She hates cars. She hates white men who fly planes. She's for reparations. She's for rioting. She's supports the Black Lives Matter movement. She's very much within what is the kind of globalist NGO mindset, right? She seems like the perfect person to run NPR. So if you got rid of her, you wouldn't really solve anything because she is the embodiment of that culture.
Another person who's been in the news quite a bit lately is DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. Turns out he will not be impeached, but Republicans in the House gave it a college try. You made the point to me earlier today that getting rid of Mayorkas, getting rid of Maher at the top of their respective institutions wouldn't really change the underlying problem. Tell us about that.
There's just going to be dozens more to take their place. Mayorkas, like Maher, this guy is a product of white leather shoe law firms, NGOs. He does a ton of work with international NGOs on the immigration migration front before he became. That's part of the reason he was chosen to be DHS. If you got rid of him, if you impeached him, it would be super easy for Biden to pluck another person out of a globalist NGO to replace him.
And finally, you also wrote this week something that I think a lot of Americans would agree with you about. Blocking traffic should be a more serious offense. We've seen a lot of instances of pro-Palestinian protesters really disrupting traffic in cities. What should happen to the traffic blockers?
Yeah, well, first, just how widespread it was. They shut down Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. They shut down a major artery in Oakland. They shut down a highway in Oregon, SeaTac Airport, Chicago Airport, Brooklyn Bridge, Philadelphia Main Center. So this is nationwide. But there was one place where they were not able to shut down traffic. In Miami, they were met with riot gear and police on horses and state troopers in armored personnel carriers. They were not messing around.
Wow.
And they arrested them, got them out of the way. So you can address this problem with a law enforcement problem, arrest these people and go on the street. The problem is, in a lot of the localities I just named, you have Democrats, George Soros-funded prosecutors that aren't going to arrest these people, or they're not going to prosecute these people. Police are afraid to arrest them, etc. So what you can do, especially for federally funded infrastructure, so when you look at like I-80 in Oakland, that's an interstate. There's a federal nexus there. When you look at highways throughout the country, or bridges like the Brooklyn Bridge, you get federal money to fund those projects. Look at any airport. Those are obviously FAA, interstate commerce. There's a federal nexus there. There's no reason Congress can't come in and say, look, if you are blocking traffic on a federally funded highway or blocking traffic to a federally funded airport, that's now a federal crime. Then you could have federal law enforcement arrest these people, and you could have DOJ prosecutors prosecute them so they wouldn't get off. So it would be more serious offense because these people just have impunity. They're not being prosecuted in these democratic jurisdictions. They feel like can go out, block traffic, cause havoc, and you and me are stuck in traffic and we have no recourse.
It's a shame.
It's a shame.
Well, Conn, thank you so much for being here today. You can get more writing from Conn and the rest of the commentary team at washingtonexaminer.com.